As you've been hearing, Donald Trump is warning his massive naval armada is on its way and time is running out for Iran to make a deal. Our diplomatic editor, Dominic Waghorn, has more on the president's options for any military strike.
Donald Trump says an armada of warships is on the way to the Persian Gulf. So is he about to attack Iran again? Or is he going to make a deal with the Ayatollahs instead? This is what he said during the recent massive protests in Iran.
I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. And again, I tell the Iranian leaders, you better not start shooting because we'll start shooting too.
Well, the Iranian government did shoot protesters and is thought to have killed them in their thousands. It's been one of the most brutal crackdowns the world has ever seen. Massacres in at least 19 cities across the country. It's thought mothers, children, shopkeepers, young people, students gunned down simply for demanding change. The unrest has been crushed for now at least, but the US is still moving warships into strategic positions in the Gulf.
We have a big force going toward Iran. I'd rather not see anything happen, but we're watching them very closely. We have an armada. We have a massive fleet heading in that direction, and maybe we won't have to use it. We'll see.
Until now, the aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln, had gone dark, turning off its transponders so it couldn't be tracked. Officials now say the warship is in the Persian Gulf and on station in range of Iran. US military officials say 3 guided missile destroyers are escorting the strike group. The US is thought to have sent more warplanes to bases in the Gulf too. They include the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE, the Prince Sultan Base in Saudi Arabia. There's also the Navy Support Activity Facility in Bahrain. More F-15 fighter jets and C-17 transport planes have been sent to the region too. President Trump is reported to have asked for options, so what could the targets be? Well, he could hit the IRGC, or Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. It is Iran's most powerful military group, numbering more than 125,000, and has been behind much of the recent repression. It has bases in the capital and across the country. He could strike targets linked to Iran's nuclear and missile programs, like it did in last June's US-led Operation Midnight Hammer, or economic targets, oil and gas facilities essential to the country's already collapsing economy. Or he could strike at the top, targeting the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. That's not thought very likely. If Trump gives the go-ahead, what would be the consequences? Well, Iran's military is sounding defiant, a commander warning the finger is on the trigger. This mural's gone up in Tehran, threatening America with the words, "If you sow the wind, you will reap the whirlwind." It could order its proxies to strike back, like the Houthis in Yemen. They recently released this video warning of more attacks on ships in the Red Sea. More likely would be targeting US allies in the Gulf, which could send the price of oil soaring, which would affect all of us. Israel could also be affected, with Iran potentially launching an offensive towards the nation it calls Little Satan. Airlines are also preparing for possible disruptions, with some airlines cancelling routes there and across some airspace in the Middle East. The biggest blowback to any military action, though, would be rallying Iranians behind their hated government like any other when it's attacked by the enemy. That may be why Trump is also considering doing the opposite, a deal with Iran instead, to remove enriched uranium for good, reduce long-range missiles and ban nuclear enrichment. He's offering a grand bargain of sorts at the end of the barrel of a very big gun. Now, if the Iranian government goes for that, it won't help the people who rose up and want change, because it would leave in place and probably strengthen the regime that has crushed their hopes and killed so many of them.
Dominic Waghorn there. Let's go straight to our James Matthews, who joins us from Washington. And James, we're hearing the regime push back, use strong words, and Donald Trump, as ever, unpredictable. Difficult to know exactly what he might do and what success or the end game looks like for him.
Hi, Yalda. Yeah, I think you're right. It was interesting, I thought, in his Truth Social post today that Trump didn't allude to those who have been protesting in Iran, or the reasons for that. That had been the focus of his military threat just a fortnight ago. Remember that post, "Help is on the way." It would be easy, I think, to read too much into one post on social media, but one question would be, has the premise for action shifted? Trump writes no nuclear weapons. It's all about restricting Iran's nuclear program. I wonder, does that indicate a shift in focus? Because targeting Iran's nuclear ambitions would be a different military operation from one aimed at helping protesters with what they want, which is regime change. Whatever that would look like as a military operation, I think it would look far more complicated. I do think, Yado, that everything we've heard today here in the States is setting the table for military action. If you listen to Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State today, he was talking about Iran being weaker than it's ever been, Iran's missile stockpiles, the need, he said, to launch a preemptive strike potentially to protect US service personnel. There's no indication that Iran is planning any kind of first strike. So on the US side, there is this belligerence in the language that does sound like they have something lined up. What it's done, of course, is what Donald Trump wants it to do, and that is to shift attention away from the unease that suddenly is surrounding him. It's been a month of climb downs for him on Greenland, on Minneapolis, his remarks on NATO troops. He needs to stop that drift, change the conversation and present himself as a president in control. That hasn't necessarily been the picture of recent days.
Yeah, indeed. As you say, James, we'll have to wait and see what happens in the coming days and week. Thanks so much.